Ah. Feels good to stretch. Dude, if you are not doing this sort of stretching, what are you doing with your lives? Please, please, how do you live? Ah. Today is a rainy, beautiful, rainy day. It makes me so happy. Crack. Today is a beautiful rainy day. I'm so thankful. It's like so overcast, no sun. I love a rainy day. I just love it. And I love to ride my bicycle in the rain. It is the most majestic, like almost painful. It can be painful, the rain. And it can be cold, but it's like you just keep going. You're not gonna get that cold, like not in the summer. And it's like an acupuncture massage experience, and you just uh, I like a little hurt, not extreme pain. I'll just think about that for a second. uh, so today is kind of a work day. A lot of work to do. I have a lot of emails to write. Not really a lot, just to my dad and my sister. Um, Actually, a really big email, like kind of about a progression of my movement disorder, um, which is what I am going to talk about on this channel because I think it's worth documenting. I think it's interesting. I actually do. I want to experience it in that way, like, oh, let's experience this, you know? Um, I have a lot of concerns. Um, and so I really enjoy watching this kind of content. That is basically what I watch is other people talking about their medical experiences, their life journeys, their vlogs, just like not famous, just people that I happen to find on YouTube. And uh, I think that this journey is going to be very. I think it's going to be fucking tough, okay? Um, I have had fatigue and stuff my whole life. Um, and then a few years ago, 5 years ago, I'm 42, almost 43, like almost 43. Um, I started having movements. So in my toes and my arms. In 2020, I had two big episodes where it was like crazy arms and legs, and the entirety of my digestion. So all of that sort of smooth muscle stuff that happens on its own, yeah, it's just not quite fluid. Um, it's a really shitty thing, and something you take for granted, you know, until it doesn't work, and you're like, fuck. So then, actually, recently, found out or realized like the whole Camp Lejeune settlement of poisonous water, and that is where it was conceived and born. And so I've had this fatigue and problems my whole life, and it really comes in these episodes, and as I get older they get worse, and it's really kind of in the past been sort of like a flu-like episode where then I will have this like extreme burning pain in my butt and down my legs, and maybe that doesn't go away, but the other flu-like flare kind of like pain and stiffness does go, lifts, but these big pain and stiffness moments, where it's really very specific spots in my forearms, and it can radiate. But then this last, so Camp Lejeune settlement, interesting, yes, we will be discussing how that turns out. I am in the settlement. My sister is helping me with that. She is a lawyer. I have no ability to do any kind of work like that. I struggle to like read one form and put like letters in one blank spot. No joke. So I do very, very good at finding tiny things. So this is my coping mechanism. It's actually a really great coping mechanism. And all of these things are found by riding my bicycle and going to thrift stores, because exercise helps me so much. And we'll probably talk about riding my bike a lot, because it's something nobody in my life really wants to hear about. That's why I'm doing this vlog. Yeah, I need like a therapy moment, and I know a lot of people do, and I know a lot of people are struggling with the very, very similar or parallel, or know somebody who is, and the diagnosis process is really hard. Wow, wasn't expecting to cry. The diagnosis process was really hard, and so in law, and like humiliating. I have a neurology appointment next month, so that is going to be a big one. It's September 26th at KU Med Neurology, and I have been to a few, maybe 3 neurologists. I've had a lot of like MRIs and stuff. But sort of been like, well, let's see what happens. Let's see how this progresses. Let's see how the symptoms progress, you know. So it's progressing. And my last episode, which I will probably talk about a lot, but sort of, it was an accumulation of stress, which is what happens if I am not so careful about my life, so diligent about my sleep, my diet, my exercise, then I will have this episodes. And every time it's like maybe a different symptom comes up, like a new completely symptom that I've never had before. So that could be a huge movement problem. That could be sound sensitivity, or nerve temperature sensitivity, or sun sensitivity, which is one of the most difficult things I've dealt with. But this time it was weakness in my hands and not being able to reach out and pick something up. And actually it was specifically elephant miniature, not from this collection, from a different box that I'll show you some other time. So I reached out to grab it, to move it, and I did grab it. I didn't drop it. I thought I was gonna drop it, and I like had it like both hands. My BF is calling me. I'll be back. So, my best friend just called me. So, uh, I had an inability to like really hold on to this object, and this weakness is basically the stiffness I've had, this pain and stiffness I've had my whole life in my forearms. It does come and go. Um, has like turned into this weakness where I can't just pick up a jar or a glass and just drink out of it. Like and even that is difficult. Typing is difficult. The stiffness is moving up my body. Like it started in my legs and then it was in my sternum for a long time. I mean, it still is, but for a while it was just so intense, and it's in my spine. And then lately, so with this, for the first time with this episode, it moved from just being in my forearms to also being in my upper arms, and it moved up to my jaw, and it moved up to like the very base of my neck. And I had also a moment where my head felt really heavy and my neck felt very weak. I was like, and I've had times in the last few days where it's like hard to chew food, hard to move my mouth, the stiffness, the weakness in my mouth and my jaw. So that's super shitty, and yeah, this is super shitty. So that is what I am filming. I'm filming the progression of this shittiness. I hope I get better, and I think I will get better. I think I'll recover from this episode, and I think it will return. You know, so all right, I'm gonna go for my first video. I don't want to be too long, and I just want to put it up, and I want to try and continue this series and show how this turns out. The settlement, the progression of this disease, and all the things that I continue to do to try to manage. Thank you so much for listening. Peace and love.